Hello, this is Tiki here, and here I'm going to be watching replays again of my top 8 run last weekend on September 24th, I believe. September 24th, and I have been running the same deck. Oh, I guess I should explain who I am. I'm a player that just came back about 2.5 months ago to Magic Online after taking a 3 to 4 year break. Previously, I had been playing Modern online, and I've been playing Mono Blue Delver. And then when I came back 2-3 months ago, Mono Blue was basically gone. Although it is coming back recently, but it was basically gone, and Mono and Blue Red Delver was here. And so I decided to basically buy all the snow-covered islands and mountains and play this deck. So I'm gonna talk. Basically, the format of this video is going to be I'm going to ramble a bit, where I talk about my deck choices, maybe playstyle differences, and then I'm going to go into top 8 review videos of some games against some pretty good players. All right, so here we go. While on the Pauper Discord, I noticed that I was talking to sideboard. I'll start again. I was having sideboard discussions with some pretty good Blue-Red Delver players, such as Kung Fu Trees and the Mage Power, both very good Blue-Red players with definitely more experience than me. And I've noticed that the Kung Fu Tree is he's like a fairly conservative player, in that he's willing to have Sea Gale goals in his sideboard and Flame Slashes and stuff like that in his sideboard. And he cuts Delver sometimes. And the Mage Power basically never cuts Delver in any matchup, from what I understand. And he's willing to cut Ninja in a lot of matchups as well. Now for me, my philosophy is a little different when I play this deck. My philosophy is that Delver is the worst of offense. Well, it's a good offensive creature, but Ninja is actually the best offensive creature. And so I'm very hesitant to cut even one Ninja in a lot of matchups. Maybe Elves, I'll cut a Ninja where they just swarm the board out of control. But like decks against Stompy, I don't cut Ninja because it is a way for me. Is a way for me to pressure the Stompy player, or at least force them not to attack. And defensively, a 3-power flyer and a 2-power guy on the ground is very similar. But the difference is that the Ninja, when it first enters, it usually draws a card. And so that's why, even against aggro decks, I feel that Ninja is just better than Delver. It is obviously slower. The tempo disadvantage of bouncing a Fairy Miscreant is obviously evident, and but I still believe that Ninja is an incredible card and Delver is a big card. And I frequently cut this Delver card in a lot of matchups. Here I pulled up the Pauper metagame, and let's see. I cut Delver against Delver against Mono Blue, against Is It Blitz are definite cuts, and then most likely matchups where Delver gets cut is Affinity, which is, I know a lot of players disagree completely, and they think that you need Delver to race against Affinity. I cut it against Stompy, which is also another shocker for a lot of people because they think Delver is really good in that matchup, and I've been known to trim it against the various blue-black decks because they usually mulligan for Disfigure or Chainer's Edict, and it just becomes a 1-for-1. And I don't want my creatures to just 1-for-1 the blue-black decks. And so I've actually been known to cut a Delver or two in the blue-black matchups. And then even Burn, I'd rather lock them out with the full set of 4 counterspells, 3 Hydroblast. Sometimes, and the result of my sideboard choices is that I end up cutting Delver in a lot of matchups, and I admittedly do lose a lot of games, or a fair number of games because I just get tempoed out completely and like I have no chance of winning ever. But on the flip side, there are a lot of games where I survive at 1 life and I have 2 counterspells and a Hydroblast against the mono red player, and I'm feeling really good. And so that's like the card decision. That's like the playstyle differences that a lot of people may not notice while playing UR Delver, is that you can take a much more aggressive role or controlling role with the exact same list, depending just on your playstyle and how you sideboard. And for me, I sideboard in a way such that I almost never cut Counterspell. I almost never cut Ninja. I should cut Augur a little bit more, but I almost never cut Augur. And I also never cut cantrips because my cantrips are a part of my mana base. So sometimes I will cut a Preordain, but that's very rare, and I will never cut any more than 2 cantrips. I never cut Gush, never cut Spell Stutter, and so if you look at the cards that are basically never cuts, it's a long list. I also feel that cutting Fairy Miscreant is very weird, because. But I'm willing to admit that maybe I should be cutting Fairy Miscreant more often. But once you start cutting Fairy Miscreant, maybe my opinion is that maybe you should just be not cutting Delver instead. So like, I'd rather cut Delver instead of Fairy Miscreant, but if you have to cut both, maybe there's something wrong with your sideboarding plan. So like, these are the cards that I'm cutting most often. And these are the core of my deck. And as a result, my sideboarding plans also reflect that, and my playstyle also reflects that. So basically, TLDR, I'm very much a control player playing this deck. I don't play this like a tempo deck, and that shows in my playstyle, in my sideboarding, and in my deck choice. Now I'm going to go talk about the top 8. I went 5-1 in the Swiss. I think I lost to a blue-black player, and that admittedly may be because of the lack of the 4th Delver, I'm willing to admit. I lost to a blue-black player, and when I went into the top 8, I was actually a little tired that day, and I didn't play that well. And that's actually part of the reason why I'm looking at these videos, is because I wasn't playing that well, and therefore I'm willing to bet that I can catch a lot of mistakes. So here we go. Top 8. Let's see. I'm up against Methodical, which is probably the best Pauper player, or I mean, not the best Pauper player, but results-wise, he has the best results in the Pauper challenges. And he's been known to play Boros Monarch, and I just assumed that he's on Boros Monarch. I won the Darble, which is obviously awesome. Snap Keep. I don't think there's anything much to talk about with his hand. Oh, there is something to talk about. Okay, so I'm definitely casting a cantrip here. The question is which one, and I think you should always cast Ponder here. If the Augur wasn't here, then I think you always cast Preordain, because you can selectively look for cards, and in Ponder is better late game where you're just looking for a specific card, and you also have more shuffle effects late game. But in this scenario, when you have Augur in play as well, Ponder can actually set up Augur Bolus, and Preordain can't unless you keep both on top. Well, even if you do that, it's not possible. But if you do Ponder, you can keep a card third from the top, and you'll be able to see it on your turn to Augur. And so you should be Pondering here. Preordain here, I think. Yeah. Oh, I just skipped right through that. Basically, it was a Scred and Counterspell. I apologize for skipping through. A Scred and Counterspell. I bottomed the Scred and I topped the Counterspell, I think. The way I know that is because that I briefly went through the replay, the specific one, to make sure it was working. What? I thought bottom scred? Maybe it wasn't a scred? I apologize. I guess I'll check. That's not how you do it. It was a scred, but did I actually top these? I'm not willing. I don't think I would do that. These already have a scred. I don't need the second one. I'm willing to bet that I drew it naturally, my third scred. There's no way to check because I don't have a chat box here, and MTGO replays are awesome. But I'm willing to bet that I drew the scred naturally. So that's unfortunate. And then I cast Augur here. No reason to hold a counterspell at this point. And then I whiff here. If I pondered, I could have set up the counterspell, but because I'm bad, I whiff here. I should set up a punt counter somewhere, because every time I watch these videos, there's something I screw up. He plays State of Inspector. Don't really care. Okay, here is another couple options. I can ponder here, hold up counterspell, and then if I can counter whatever he plays, or I can upkeep, or I can shuffle away the pondered cards, or I can upkeep, shuffle. Or the second option is to just play Island Go and hold up counterspell and shuffle. And I think at this point my hand was kind of bad that I was willing to, and I was worried about my ponder being not very good, that I was willing to ponder shuffle here, I think. Yeah. So I go for the ponder shuffle play. So I'm going to play my island here, and then I'm going to hold up counterspell or shuffle. And let's see, is this a good play? Probably not. On hindsight, I don't think these are like little percentage plays that you can make arguments for both sides. I don't think I'd make this play if I was playing again. But it's a fine defensible play. And then here I know that I have the shuffle, so I keep priority on top, and I draw it. And now the shuffle is full. I'm going to be shuffling for sure. If I end up counterspelling something, then I'm going to shuffle and upkeep. He plays Prism here. I was actually really tempted to counterspell this because sometimes you can screw them off of white mana, and also it's actually a big card advantage engine for them with Glinthawk and Core Skyfisher. But I just decided that I'm going to counter a creature instead, the Core Skyfisher. And the Core Skyfisher also had targets with like Great Furnace and Clue and Grave Inspector, and so I thought, nah, just let him do this, and then I'm going to shuffle. This fast forward button is actually kind of laggy because Exelon just came out today, and the servers are pretty overloaded, I think. So hopefully I don't skip through anything important. Here I just hold up counterspell and spell stutter. Having two counterspells up is kind of nice. Let's see what he does. Turn 4. Core Skyfisher, I have the option of so this is what I was talking about. Maybe I should just counter the Prophetic Prism, because now what would he bounce? He would bounce the Raven Inspector. I guess that's kind of similar in result. Probably didn't matter that much. Yeah, actually, countering the Core Skyfish is probably better, right? So I counter it. He has the white land, so he would have been able to. If I countered this, then he would have been able to bounce Inspector and play it again. Alchemist Vial, don't care about that. Now let's see. I think I actually go for the end of turn scred here. I do. So my thought process here is, I'm probably going to be end up scredding this anyways if I draw a ninja. And he's tapped out, he can't even activate his vial. And if I can find a ninja, I can hopefully snowball the game out of control. And C, this deck has a better game 1. in my opinion, because of Monarch and Battle Screech. If they can get a Monarch up and protect it with Battle Screech, and then just bolt everything I play, they can usually out card advantage me in game 1. And that's something that I'm actively worried about, and so I want to make sure I have the board anyways. And also I had another spread, and so I'm going to justify like that. Fairy Miscreant. I think I preordain here. I don't feel obligated to kill the spread. I think I'll end up keeping both, but I'm not sure if that's right. Because first of all, I have another. So my thought process was I have Fairy Miscreant up, and so if I have Fairy Miscreant up and I have a spell starter up as well, then he can never Galvanic Blast me because I can basically counter the first Galvanic Blast, and even if he kills it, then he's going to be able to. I still have one Fairy in play, and so having a Fairy already in play is actually kind of important against these Galvanic Blast decks if you want to play your spell starter sprite. So my thought process was Sprite's going to be awesome against Bolt, and so I think I keep both, but maybe I should be looking for Ninja. Wait, let's see what happens. Yeah, I keep the Spell Stutter. And then next turn I can hold up double Spell Stutter and hopefully get him. That was my plan. I don't think he falls for it because he's a better player than I am. Let's see. He plays Palace Monarch, and he has a Bolt up. So, I mean, he has the Vile Mana up, So here is, I have a couple options. Oh, well, 2 options. I can Bolt or not Bolt. And, or I can Bolt, I can Spell Stutter, or I can pass. And I think what I end up doing is spreading it. And the reasoning is that he only has 1 mana left, and so he can only Bolt or Vile. He can't do both. And so if I end up bolting this, I have 2 creatures in play, and he can only stop 1. And so I don't even get that blown out by a bolt. The downside of bolting here is that it leaves only 1 mana up, and so he has an opportunity to get under my spell stutter sprite. But I think at the time it's okay, and I let him do that, and I spread here. Probably a mistake on hindsight. I think even just casting the spell stutter would have been a better play. So to make sure I have a good board position in order to counter any spell or steal and have a good position to steal back the Monarch. This might have been the worst of the 3 plays. Because I tapped myself out. My thought process also sort of was that I wanted to make sure I had double spell stutter up for next turn, but that's just BS, I think. I don't think that makes much sense. Like, I'm just BSing myself at this point. Yeah, this is a bad play, I think. Yeah, and he punishes me. And he kills the Miscreant because he's a genius, obviously. And by genius, I mean he knows what he's doing. So I think I leave up. Yeah, I leave up both. I could have pondered here. I probably should have pondered here. I drew the Ninja at end of turn, and so I obviously couldn't Ninja in Yager, or I would have done it. He finds Journey to Nowhere. That's kind of big. And he finds another Monarch, which is also huge because I had the Monarch in the first place, and he didn't have a creature, and so I thought I'd be able to draw more cards. But he has another Monarch. I don't have a counterspell to punish this. And so my option is to flash in a spell stutter and steal back the Monarch. And I believe I Ninja here. Really no reason not to, except I guess the reason not to is that I'm obviously signaling that I have a spell starter in my hand, but who cares at this point? I ponder because I have extra mana. I shuffle away, I believe, because I'm definitely looking for answers to his creatures. I find a Bolt, and this is where Bolt is awkward because it obviously doesn't deal with this guy. And I draw a counterspell, which is super awkward because I don't have a blue source. He steals back the Monarch. Core Skyfisher, I have no counterspell. I have my only option is to bolt it. Prism, so he's just going off with his card advantage right now. And I think at this point I feel like the game is basically over because he has a Vial in play and he has probably some number of bolts and Monarch, but obviously I keep playing. I believe I bolt end of turn. No, I don't? Okay. Play my Miscreant. Maybe he shouldn't have pre-combat bolted. Maybe he would have not used his Vial there, so I could have attacked and then bolted it. But yeah, that's probably better. I don't think he would have fell for it though. So that's actually the reason why I didn't do it. But I think I shuffle here. I find another bolt, which is awkward again. He gets to keep the Monarch for a turn. Battle Screech, go for counterspell. If he resolves the Battle Screech, I'm never getting back the Monarch. So I decided to counterspell that. And now I'm tapped out, and I believe he goes off again. Bolt, Prism. He doesn't attack because he fears my bolt, rightly so. And now he has like the soft lock where he has a Battle Screech about to that's almost easily castable, and I have no more counter spells, and he has the Monarch, and so he can just stay back and not do anything, and I'm basically locked out of the game. I made 2 kind of significant misplays. I'm gonna let him do his thing, but the game's basically over at this point. He just flashes back a bunch of Battle Screeches. I think something interesting happens here. Let's see. So yeah, here my thought process is I have to bolt, top deck another bolt, hit him, draw a card, steal a Monarch, and I have spell starter protection for the bolts, and hopefully I can find a way to win. But basically, it starts with stealing back the Monarch, and so I go for the bolt here on one of the tokens. I don't draw a bolt, and so he obviously ends up chump blocking. And my bolt ends up looking really dumb. And now he has Alchemist Vial. Rally Peasants, and he just kills me here. So this is the quintessential game 1, like the good things that can happen for Boros game 1. I think I played this game pretty badly, but I'll be honest, I don't think it might have not made a difference. Well, I guess we'll never know, and you should never say that it wouldn't make a difference, I guess. But he had a fairly good draw. He played perfectly around as well as he could around my spell stutters, and they were just stranded in the game. I stranded my hand for basically the entire game. I probably tapped out one too many times, so that I couldn't get value off my spell stutters because he did cast 2 bolts this game. And so those were cards that I could probably, if I played my spell stutters, if I played around my mana better, I could have probably sniped one of these at least, and maybe turned it around. But yeah, that was game 1. Pretty convincing. Game 2. Let's see. Snapkeep here. I think I go turn 1 fetch actually. Turn 1 fetch, turn 2 augur, turn 3 ninja is my plan. He missile 6, which is obviously great for me. Yeah, I still augur. There's no reason to preordain or fairy miscreant. So I bring in Hydroblast, and the reason is Electrickery. I don't want to get blown out late game scenarios by Electrickery, and that's one of the ways that I can actually lose the game in a late game scenario, assuming the Monarch didn't resolve, is Electrickery. And so I actually bring in Hydroblast as a 1-mana dispel. It also has uses against bolts and Galvanic Blast, and he basically has about 10 to 12 red burn spells, and Hydroblast is amazing against all of them. And so I think I bring in 2, and I found both of them and a Scred. What do I keep here? I believe I take the Scred though, because it's so early in the game that I don't need the Hydroblast. Like Hydroblast, I just want a late game. I don't want an early game. So I take the Scrud. He bolts me. I preordain here. I find another ninja and a Milan. I think I bought on both of these. I don't need either. I think I play Island and let's see what I do. I don't remember actually. I know I play Fairy Miscreant, but I don't know if I play Island or Evolving Wild. I play Evolving Wild. Okay. I couldn't brainstorm shuffle and play Fairy Miscreant, and I wanted to get my Miscreant down because I had a ninja. So that's something I could. I was thinking about. He plays Journey to Nowhere. He takes it. So he's stuck on lands. And I'm sorry, I fast forwarded, but basically he's stuck on lands, and I didn't crack my shuffle because I didn't crack my fetch because I don't look at the ponder. If you don't look at the ponder, my hand was Brainstorm, Ninja, Scred, and 2 lands. And that's a really bad hand. And so I wanted to Brainstorm shuffle this turn, and so I didn't crack my fetch this last turn, which I think was a really good play because it sets up. I did end up drawing the ponder, which made it sort of irrelevant, but I really wanted to brainstorm here. As I say that, I don't brainstorm. Is ponder better? Wait a second. That's something to think about. Is brainstorming here better or pondering better? Pondering here, in hindsight, it made good use of my fetch. But I should have probably just brainstormed and gotten the value of the brainstorm shuffle while I could. That's debatable. I suppose my mind was set on the ponder shuffle effect. Like once I was set on the brainstorm shuffle, but then I found the ponder, and I wanted to save the brainstorm for this next shuffle. That probably makes that's what was going through my head I think at the time. Because brainstorm is better the more cards the later the game is, because at this point in the game we still need lands, we still need spells, we still need creatures, and so we still want to draw cards naturally. But later in the game we're going to be flooded on lands or counter spells or something, and brainstorming them always better late game. And so once I found the ponder, I decided I wanted to ponder, and I keep the augur and I shuffle. I believe I keep the augur, and then I shuffle now. Yeah, I shuffle now, and then I cast my augur. And I find a preordainer. So yeah, it worked out really well for me. And I do think that this is the right line. Keeping the fetch because I had a brainstorm, and then once I drew the ponder, realizing that ponder is better here. I'm sorry I fast forwarded through that, by the way. He Pyroblasted. That's probably to play around Spell Stutter, but that must hurt because that's basically a 2-for-1. Because my augur drew a card. Drew a Hydroblast. I preordain here for sure. I think I bought on both of these. Electric Ray is a late game card, so I don't need Island. I think I preordain again. I definitely bought a Ninja. Would I keep Counterspell here? I think so. Because next turn he might have a Monarch. And so keeping Counterspell is reasonable. I definitely okay. I remember. I bought them both because I was looking for a creature to ninja, and I drew the 3rd ninja. And I remember thinking to myself, "Holy crap!" And I was actually a little upset. And now what I'm looking for is a shuffle because I need to get rid of these ninjas in my hand. Yeah, I definitely did not top. That's ridiculous. Unfortunately, I don't have a chat box to prove that this is the 3rd ninja that I drew, but yeah, you guys have to take my word for it. And then, speak of the devil, I drew a fetch, so top decking like a god. Unfortunately, the cards I drew are okay. I think I put back a ninja and a Scred, because if I have all these counter spells, the Screds aren't as great. Yep, Ninja and Scred is gone. I'm probably gonna shuffle here. I don't want the Scred anyways. I think I let this resolve because I don't really care. I don't care about the first one because I have the spread, and I'm more worried about Monarch. So I actually let the first one resolve. And then he plays a second one, and then I'm like, I don't have an answer to the second one, so I have to counter this. And so I counter this, and I spread the other guy, and I shuffle. And I draw the perfect top deck, very miscreant, protected by 2 counter spells. And he's just going off with his Alchemist Files. Never going to get a ninja hit in this game, pretty much. I draw Stormbound Geist, which is one of my sideboard cards. It's a 1-of. It's just okay in this matchup. It's basically to stall out the game, because if he has like a bunch of Battle Screech tokens, and if I have Stormbound Geist, it's going to be really hard for him to get through the Stormbound Geist. He does this pre-combat, so I can't ninja my guy in, and it actually doesn't end up mattering because I wasn't going to ninja anyways, because I wanted to play my Stormbound Geist. Journey to Nowhere. I believe I protect this. He blasts this, and I think I let this one go, actually. Do I? Yeah, I let this go. Is that debatable? Should I have protected that with Hydro Blast? My thinking at the time was that I don't care about my Miscreant, all I care is about the Geist. And I'm willing to ninja a Geist at this point, because I have 6 lands in play. And so I can do ninja Geist again and I'll leave up Hydro Blast. I draw Gush, which is like perfect. I believe I Gush pre-combat, which is a little risky if I don't draw anything, because I just end up leaving 2 lines floating. And I drew Ponder and Augur. Oh, sorry, I apologize. I skipped through this. What happens is I drew Ponder and Augur, and first of all, I apologize because of the Ixalan thing. My MTGO has been lagging a lot today, and the fast forward button, I think I clicked it one time too many. Second of all, the Gush drew Ponder and Augur, and this is the same interaction at the beginning of game 1 that I missed once again while playing too fast. I should have pondered first, but I didn't, and I missed out on my chance on a Gorilla Shaman to blow up 2 lands. Sorry, 2 lands right here. So, super punished here. I should have pondered first, but I was playing too fast. That's unfortunate. Ponder after that, and this is pretty gas, and I end up keeping all these, I think. Let's see. Scred, Brainstorm, Spellstutter. Let's see if I draw the Spellstutter. Trying not to skip everything. Okay, if I do end up drawing the Spellstutter, do I ninja here? I wouldn't be surprised if I ninja here, but probably no reason to, because I want to ninja the Augur because I draw another card. Yeah, I don't ninja here, and also I can leave a Spellstutter and Hydro Blast. Core Skyfisher, super annoying. So, the reason why I say Stormbound Geist isn't that good in this match is that it's really good at stalling out the board against Battle Screech tokens, but it's really bad against Core Skyfisher, because you don't want to, like, the only way this Stormbound Geist is going to get through Core Skyfisher is by chump attacking. And so I think we end up having this board stall for quite a while. So I brainstorm here, and the reasoning is there's a Scred on top. I know there's a Scred on top because of the Ponder beforehand, and I want to draw the Scred in order to get this Core Skyfisher. So I found a fetch land so that I can shuffle away this 1 island. So definitely island, and then I think I do Ash Bearer. No, I do Electrickery, because I don't really need it at this point. So I go for the Scred. I think he has something. Yeah, he has Prismatic Strand, which is pretty good against me. It's basically their version of Hydro Blast. I don't have a counterspell, so obviously it resolves, and he does pro red, and I can't attack. And there's Electricity on top, and now I have the option of shuffling it away or not. So I did it right. 3 Inspector, I go for the spell stutter. He has 0 cards in hand, and I get the counter. And so at this point, I'm feeling really good. The only way he ever wins is if he draws a Monarch. How does Methodical win from here? He has 1 Prismatic Strand in the graveyard, and that's it. So the way he wins is Monarch into, if he plays Monarch and I have to chump attack, and then I get 1 hit in. No, he has 2 vials, so I can't even get the Monarch the turn he plays it. And then he draws a Battle Screech into Battle Screech. Battle Screech into Flashback Battle Screech, and then he can actually win the game from there. But apart from that, I don't really see a way for him to win. And actually, ironically, I know that they cut Monarch. They cut Rally the Peasants and Monarch in their sideboarding plans, so that's probably not even going to come up often. Electricity, I know, is on the top of my deck. I don't want it, so I shuffle. Gush, perfect draw once again. Just top decking into another Gush. I was actually super tempted to Gush again to look for a Bolt, and so I could Ninja this turn, but I decided not to. I'm patient. We're just playing draw go at this point. There's nothing much to talk about. I believe I do something here. I tap out for Gush here. Just not even return 2 islands. Just 5 mana Gush here. And the reason was because I wanted all my mana next turn. I wanted at least 5 mana next turn, and I guess if I did and I wanted it at instant speed. And if I didn't Gush like this, then I wouldn't have 5 mana next turn to hold up Hydroblast, Spell Stutter, and Ninja. And so my thought process was I need to Gush here if I want to have 5 mana next turn at instant speed. In the event that I do draw a Bolt. So I need 6 mana, I guess. And so I go for the slow Gush. This is very vulnerable to a Pyroblast if he does sideboard it in. But I take the risk. The worst thing that can happen is actually probably Electricity, but it only kills 2 guys, and like Electricity is not going to bring him back into the game. And I believe he goes for a Bolt on my Spell Stutter, and I'm like, sure, I love it. You can Bolt that guy any day. So my plan is looking for another Bolt. If I Bolt, then he has to tap his Core Skyfisher to save it, and I start taking for Bolt here. I find one. I was actually thinking about shuffling here because of the 2 islands, but I have Preordain as well, and so I think I draw the Scred, and then I Preordain right away. Go for the Scred. He does his tap thing, and then I Preordain right away. Because I know there's 2 islands on top, and I put them both on bottom. And I draw Gorilla Shaman. And the reason why I did that is because I want a Ninja. That's the only reason. I can attack with 3 guys, he has 2 vials. And he can't stop all 3 guys from attacking, and so I will get a Ninja hit here with Hydro Blast protection. That's the only reason. He does a vial on the Augur, so I don't get value off my Ninja. Very good of him. He recognizes that I want a Ninja here. This video is getting really long. I should speed up. These games have been really interesting, and they've been really grindy. I get my first Ninja hit in, and that basically closes the game out. I don't think there's a way for him to come back. I guess there is, but he's going to start cycling. He cycles some more. I'm going to start speeding up my my replay watching speed because I have a bunch of other games to get to. I play Gorilla Shaman here, and I just passed the turn. Passed the. Oh, so this is what I was talking about the board style. Like I realized a 2/2 does nothing. I want a 3/3. I have enough counter spells to protect him from bolt, and so I'm gonna upgrade my guy. Just cash it in, and I cash in my Stormbound Geist to a 3/3. I just realized I have sound on. Holy crap! I'm gonna be. I apologize for that. I actually even noticed I had sound on the entire time. There we go. That's much better. I've been so focused on casting or narrating. So basically, I use my Gorilla Shaman to blow up 3 lands. Honestly, that doesn't really even do much at this point in the game, but I just do it anyways. A Ninja here. I Augur here. Find another Electricity. I've been shuffling these things away since the beginning of time this game. I attack with my Stormbound Geist. He doesn't block. And now my Stormbound Geist is my catalyst to winning the game. I'm just gonna hit him in the air a bunch of times. I squared the Core Skyfisher, and now I can attack with everything. I'm gonna speed up. There's not much analysis to do. I Ninja and Augur. I believe I even play it. No, I just passed. All right. Yeah, leave out Spell Stutter and Counterspell. Cool. Go for the Spell Stutter on this. This is good. So he's like, "You want to eat my one drop?" And I'm like, "I guess I'll eat your 1-drop." And then he has Galvanic Blast, and I don't know what his last card is, but if it's a Spell Stutter, then you got me. Is my thought process. He's gonna kill a Gorilla Shaman, which is like nothing in a Spell Stutter. So I just Hydro Blast this, and I think he has a Spell Stutter. Yeah, he has a Spell Stutter, but like I don't even care at this point. I just let him get me. What do I find? I find nothing with my Augur. I full swing. He does. I guess these blocks are right. Are they right? I was actually expecting him to double block here, but I guess he knew about the Electricity, and so he didn't want to lose both of his guys. So that sort of makes sense to me. But he lets me draw a card, and the game is over. Have I said that the game's over yet? Just attack with everything. He tries to save something. I counterspell it. He dies. All right, game 2. Pretty grindy. He doesn't get to resolve a Battle Screech, he doesn't get to resolve a Battle Screech or Monarch because he didn't find any. So he got a little unlucky that game. But overall, I thought I played okay, apart from that one Augur, the Ponder Augur turn. Game 3 on the draw. Obviously mulligan. You can't keep hands with Ash Baron, and that's also why there's only 3 Ash Baron and 4 Revolving Wilds instead of vice versa. Oh, what? I'm looking at the wrong game. I apologize completely. I do think I mulligan though. Holy crap, MTGO as well. Oh no, I don't mulligan. Okay, I apologize. Game 3 is right here. This is. I'm also, just as a side note, I'm also a heavy sealed player, and in sealed you don't usually mulligan ever. And that philosophy has also. Obviously I mulligan hands that I have to mulligan, but for the most part I'm willing to keep fairly suspect hands, and this hand is definitely in the range of suspect. Basically, I'm trying to get him with Gorilla Shaman, and hopefully he has like artifact lands, or leave up Spell Stutter for the rest of the game. If I draw a Ninja, I can like flash in Spell Stutter and get a Ninja hidden. That's like basically my game plan here. He mulligans to 6. And right away, I see an artifact land, and I think this is my best day ever. Because I think I only sided 1 Gorilla Shaman, so my 1 of Gorilla Shaman with an untapped mountain, it's gonna do some work. Evolving Wilds to hide the fact that I have Gorilla Shaman, and he plays another Trade Inspector, and he's actually He actually kept a 1-lander on the play, which is probably a right thing to do, but it's an artifact land. And I have a Gorilla Shaman. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, when I saw this happen, I was very giddy. I thought, there's no way I ever lose this. And I just do Gorilla Shaman things. Bam, kill your land. He attacks me for 1, and he's like on 0 lands. And now my game plan here is just hit my land drops. No matter what, I hit my land drops. So I preordain for a land. I find a land. I play my island just in case he draws untapped red to get Vanek Blast. I want to keep my Gorilla Shaman around. He finds a tapped red, and so I decide to blow up 2 clues. Gorilla Shaman doing work. I've actually never seen it do work against this matchup, but it's doing work here. I guess I sided in for the free wins. He's still stuck on 1 land. He's still hitting me for 1 a turn. Maybe I should have pondered that turn, but no, I'm keeping up double counterspell just in case he has a Galvanic Blast. There's no reason to tap out right now because I'm hitting all my land drops. I think I shuffle here. I play my Fairy Miscreant. No, I gush. Yeah, gushing's better. I play my Fairy Miscreant and I ponder here. Oh my god. Should I go back and see? I should probably go back and see. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and see. I apologize. But basically, this game is all about Gorilla Shaman against his 1 artifact land. I apologize. These videos have been taking such a long time. Holy crap. I gush. I ponder. Fairy Miscreant, ponder. What do I see? Just gas. I believe I play my Augur this turn. No, I shuffle. Oh, yeah, I shuffle because I'm looking for threats. You're right. That's right. I don't need the counter spells. Yes. That makes more sense. Smart me. I pitch a Ash Baron because I don't need it. My hand is complete gas. I think he ends up pitching a card here. Yeah, he pitches Battle Screech, which ironically he might be able to play soon. But I have a billion counter spells, so there's no way. I think I tap out here actually for Stormbound guys because I want a threat on board, and I'm willing to leave up 1 counter spell only. Yep. He finds a tapped land finally, so it might be a game. Basically, what he needs to do is just run a runner lands and play a ton of Battle Screeches. That's the way he wins this game. And I hope he doesn't. I don't have Electricry, but I have so much card draw that I'm probably gonna find one, and I find one. Speak of the devil. I was really thinking about gushing, but I have 7 cards, so I don't gush. And now he taps out. I play my Spell Stutter, I believe. The only way this gets punished is Gush Shot, but I think he would have Gush Shot already. So I just Spell Stutter that. And once you start Spell Stuttering 2 mana spells, the game that's pretty much over. The only thing I need to worry about at this point is Electricry. Like if I have like 6 fairies on board and he Electricries me, that's what I can lose. So Hydro Blast is really good for preventing that. I'm just gonna I think I just counterspell everything he plays. Okay, I Spell Stutter it because I have 3 fairies on board. I counter this too. I also just want cards out of my hand so I can gush. I actually wanted another land drop, and so I keep the land, and I keep. I'm gonna Augur next turn. I don't believe I fetch here actually. Maybe I do. Let's see. He plays Journey to Nowhere. Interesting choice here. Basically, he's gonna Journey to Nowhere my Stormbound guys, and like I said, the only way I lose is if I get an Electric Raid, and so I let him do it. Just take it. I don't care. Grave Inspector, don't care. believe I shoot a land at the end of this turn. Yep, shoot another land. He fetches his clue. He taps out, and so I think I brainstorm here. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I do brainstorm. I don't need the electricity, and I don't need the fetch. So I put those two back. I'm willing to bet. I do. I shuffle. I bet. I do. It's almost as if I know what's going to happen. I'm just trying to get through this game. Augur, just to put another body on board. I believe I take electricity. Yeah, I do. Attack with everything. Play another Augur. I have Counterspell and Hydroblast up. I miss on my Augur, but I don't care. Journey nowhere, don't care. You can take a Spell Stutter Sprite. Just slows down my clock by a little bit. I think I swing with everything. No, yeah, I do. I swing with everything, and he does it. He goes for the triple block, and I scred. The result here is I get an extra point of damage. That's the only reason I did this. And I don't need the extra screds anyways. And the game's over. So the top 8, a really good series. A couple misplays. I counted 3. I don't know how many you guys saw, but I counted 3, which is to be fair, with this many decision trees in this deck, that happens from time to time. I want to be commentating these games much faster now because it's been already 50 minutes. Holy crap, 50 minutes to commentate one match. Hopefully it's been interesting. Tell me what you guys think. Dissonance, _dissonance, _. He is on Stompy. I know that because I looked him up. This hand is very slow, but like I said, it's on the side of hands I'm willing to keep, and so I keep, even against Stompy. He mulligans a 6. I ponder. All I'm looking for are lands. I find 2 lands. This is the best thing I could have hoped for, actually. I keep them all. Thank God. And stop. Okay. Basically what happened was, last turn, I could have played counters, but I decided to leave with Spell Stutter and Counterspell. There's no reason to tap out, and he hits me for 1 with his Young Wolf. That's the recap. There's no reason to tap out, especially with this many counterspells. I just want to counter anything he plays. Nest Invader, snap it off. Counterspell slow. I just counter that off. And now I play my Fairy Miscreant, and I get to leave a Spell Stutter. Oh, it's lagging. But basically, I want to leave up a Spell Stutter. Now I can get to counter 2 mana spells. The only way, there's no way for them to interact with Fairy's main deck. And so this is a really good spot to be in. Skargan Pitskulk insta counter. One of the scarier cards against Delver because a lot of our creatures are 1 power, and if this starts at 2, and he can actually buff it up with Rancor or Hunger of the Hellpack. So that's one of the scarier 1-drops that they have. Nest Invader. So this is interesting. This is a huge decision point. I have basically 3 options here. 1, I attack. I'm never blocking. First of all, I'm never blocking. I'm never going to double block here. I'm never going to trade here. So I'm always double attacking. So the first decision tree is I ninja. Ninja and preordain before or after. But the first decision tree is ninja. The second decision tree is leave up counterspell, basically. I forgot the third one. I'm trying to think. Maybe it was Ponder pre-combat. That could have been an option too, but ninjaing first allows me the option to draw an island, which lets me leave up counterspell. I go for the ninja play, partly because there's no guarantee that I'm going to find a blue off of my ponder. Like if let's say I ponder and I whiff on the blue for a counterspell, then I have to ninja that turn. And so maybe it might have been a mistake to ninja right now. I should have done a pre-combat ponder to make sure to decide whether I should ninja or leave up counterspell. But yeah, is that a mistake? Ninjaing now? It probably is a mistake now that I think about it. So I think the optimal line is to ponder first, to look for a land. If I find an island, I leave up counterspell. If I don't find an island, I ninja. And the reasoning is because I don't need to ninja here. The only reason why I would want to ninja is to get the 2/2 on board and pressure him more. So that's the offensive line of thought. And also, this is like the highest risk, highest reward, because if I do find an island here, then I can leave a counterspell and get the ninja in play, which is the best of both worlds. But a conservative line would be to ponder, looking for a land, and then ninja afterwards. Because if I whiff on this, if I don't find a land with this ninja, then I'm going to be pondering anyways. So, slight sequencing issue unless you think that the risk of the reward of drawing an island is greater, is worth it. I whiff here, and so I just end up preordaining. I believe I end up keeping both on top, actually. I know I keep a bolt because I don't have any way to interact with them yet, and so the first bolt's really good. But I also really want lands, so I'm actually not sure if I end up keeping this Fairy Miscreant. We'll see, I guess, next turn. And actually, because I ninja'd, that almost cost me the game here. Because he goes Skargan into... So that basically... into Hunger the Outback. And so this is like the... This is what I was saying. This is why this creature is so scary. He has a 5/5, basically unblockable. None of my creatures can ever get to 5 power. And so... I'm basically dead here. I'm dead in 4 turns, assuming I don't take any other damage, because I'm at 16. 3 hits puts me to 1. What are my outs? My outs are... I basically have 1 out, and that's a spread on 5 lands. I guess the second out would be double bolt with 2 mountains. So those are my 2 outs, and so I'm going to be actively digging for lands because I want 5 lands or a second mountain, and maybe a bolt because I have 1 in play already. And so I draw a counterspell, and this is like the worst card now because I'm really digging for answers. And so I think I ponder here, and I whiff. I whiff completely. These are not lands, and these are not bolts. And so I shuffle. I whiff again. And now I'm in trouble because I'm dead in 4 turns. I have to make sure that I don't take any damage from any of these other creatures in order to last as long as I can. And I need to draw 2 lands and a spread in that time. So I'm going to be digging hard. My options here is Delver Bolt, but Bolt doesn't really do anything. When am I going to be bolting, really? Let's be honest. Or Augur. And Augur lets me dig for a cantrip or a spread. And so I believe I do end up auguring here. Let's see. I was like debating whether to leave up Spell Stutter, but like I decided I'm so far behind that I can't possibly ever leave up Spell Stutter. And so I go for the spread. I find spread, which is awesome. And now all I'm looking for is lands. Lands wins me the game. Because if I get to 5 lands, I get to hold up double counterspell and spread, and there's no way that this guy's ever going to live. Yeah, that's my game plan. He hits me again. He plays another 2/2 guy. Alright, I whiff again. Now, Now what's the plan? I believe it's just pass. Can I even attack with anything? Am I really attacking here? Wait a second. That sounds like insanity to me. He has one card. So that's like the only good thing about this situation. He has one card. I think my thought process here is I have to draw lands. If I don't draw lands, I lose the game. And so I think I ninja here actually. I just go for the YOLO ninja, leaving out Bolt. Because I have to draw lands. And I whiff. Yeah. I whiff again. And now there's an awkward situation where I'm praying that the last card in his hand isn't anything at all. Because if it is anything, then I lose the game. And because if it's anything, if it's Vines or Hunger of the Howlpack, I lose. And so I decide to just do the main phase Bolt. And if he has it, he has it. But if he doesn't, I live another turn. Basically, he has to draw dead to a bunch of spells. And he top decks Elephant Guide. And now this is actually really interesting. So he knows he has the I have the Scred in my hand. And he decides to buff the Nest Invader. I think it's a mistake, actually. It's like 100% mistake because there's no way that I can ever deal with an 8/8. And the only reason I think that you would ever do this is if you looked me up on MTG Goldfish and noticed that last week I was playing a 1 of Snap. Because I was playing a 1 of Snap last week. And so maybe his thought process was, if I Elephant Guide the Skargan Pitscork and he top decks the 1 of Snap, I can lose the game. And so he decides to split diversify his threats. But the truth of the matter is, this guy is going to get chump blocked for days. I'm going to be throwing guys in front of him for days. And this guy is an unblockable threat. And if it becomes 8/8, I have no card in my side deck, in my main deck, that can beat this. If it becomes an 8/8, so he buffs the wrong guy in my opinion. And the only reason because I assume he's a really good player. The only reason you can ever think about doing this is if he scouted my deck and noticed that I was playing a 1 of Snap last week. So that's actually kind of hilarious in my opinion. But anyways, he buffs the wrong guy. He all swings. I just throw an auger in front of it. And I start the chumping process. I'm at 6. So basically, I need to keep drawing lands. I must draw lands here. And so I believe I attack again. I just play all my stuff out. Delver. And I hold up a Spell Stutter. And I double attack because my thought process is I have 0 cantrips in my hand. I have to draw a land in my next 2 draw steps, assuming he chumps here. I have 1 draw here and then my next draw step. If I don't draw a land in my next 2 draw steps, my Scred's going to be only 4 damage and I lose the game. And so I have to attack here. There's no way I can justify not attacking. I attack here. I get a good. I think I draw. Yes, I draw the land here, and so now I'm actually feeling really good, which is like funny to say, but this is just a little tangent. But these are the situations where I love playing Magic. It's because I get into these situations a lot against Stompy actually, where I just end up going to 1 health. And I end up surviving because I have a bunch of counter spells left in my hand, and I've actually dealt with all their threats. But so this is like I guess I'm spoiling this game a bit. But basically he swings all again. I do the double chump. I throw my Delver under the bus. Don't even care. Bye bye. And then here I have a decision whether to flash in the Spell Starter for an extra chumper or not, and I do decide to flash it in. Just in case, because I have enough counter spells in my hand, and I draw a 3rd ninja, and And it's situations like these where I guess I'm not exactly sure if this is right, but basically now I've dealt with the 5/5, but there's another 5/5 in play, right? And I need to deal with this 5/5 as well. And how do I do that? Well, these 3 counterspells are obviously not going to do anything. What I need to do is draw another bolt or a scred, right? And so if I'm going to do that, I need to draw more cards. And if I want to draw more cards, I might as well attack. And basically the question is, do I want to ninja in a spell stutter, or let him basically the question is, do I want to attack and leave a counterspell with attack with ninja, or leave a counterspell, or attack with spell stutter and ninja in the spell stutter? And I actually decided to go for the 3rd ninja, I believe. And it was basically a risk assessment where I was convinced that the last card he had in his hand was a dead card, and I really wanted the 3rd 2/2 in play. And so I just go for the ninja. I just yell the ninja out. And then my plan is to cycle this Ash Baron to leave up to get 6 mana for 3 counterspells in 1 turn. He double attacks. I have to double trade. Trade here and chump here for obvious reasons. I get the chump. He plays a Clearing Ranger, which does like whatever. I would have counterspelled a Clearing Ranger, so I got lucky here. This top deck wasn't very good. I draw Augur, which is like the best draw ever. What do I find? I don't think I find anything good here, actually. I draw Preordain, and I go for the Preordain because I know he only has 1 card left in his hand. And I whiff again. I think I go bottom here. Yeah, I go bottom here, and I draw Delver, and I play the Delver because it becomes 3 power, and 3 power and 2 power can trade with the 5/5. So that's the reason why I play it. He attacks with the 5/5 only, and I chump at the Augur, I believe. Yeah, I chump at the Augur. So if this guy flips, then I'm back in. I'm basically back in the game. I fashion the spell stutter again, just in case I need another blocker. And I flip Scred, which is huge for obvious reasons. And now I'm feeling pretty good, right? I have 3 counterspells. I have the Scred. So now I get to go on the offensive. He's at 11. I don't even know how I got him to 11. But he's at 11. And so Delver is going to get in his 3 damage. My plan is to Scred the Nest Invader and double counterspell any protection he has. He attacks. I Scred. He goes for Vines, I believe. And I counter that. Get this out of the way. What does he play? Scargan Piscal. So it's not Bloodthirst. So I think to myself, it's just a 1-mana 1/1. I'll let him have it. Whatever. But now the problem is I can't attack. Maybe Preordaining's bad here to leave a double counterspell. But I once again I had to read that the last card in his hand was a 5th land, and so I go for the Preordain. I bottom. Maybe there was an argument to keeping an Ash Baron, but yeah, in order to get double blue. But I don't. I'm just looking for spells, and I actually top deck an Evolving Wilds, so I'm a little sad about that. He goes for Vines on the Scargan to make it 5 power, so I can't block. I immediately go for the counterspell. Can't let him do that. So we just have a board stall where I'm willing to trade here. He can't attack with either of these guys because it gets eaten by a ninja. And so I play a Fairy Miscreant. And now here I think I tanked for like 5 minutes. Try and like make sure I got my math right. Basically, my math was if I attack here, if I attack with my Delver, I have 3 blockers for his 3 blockers, and I have a counterspell for his spell, and for any spell he draws. And if he attacks with just the elephant, I just jump with my ninja, and I have 5 flyers in the air, 5 power flyers in the air. If he attacks with all, then I chump with my Fairy Miscreant, I eat Skargan Pitskulk, and I trade here. And I have 2 power in the ground, 3 power in the air, and I kill him that way. And the only way he survives is if he attacks with just a 1/1 and a 3/3, and so he forces me to chump with my ninja and trade with my spell stutter, and that's a way he can survive. But that's not even that good for him, and so I attack here, put him down to 5. And there's not many cards you can draw here because I have a counterspell. He draws Rancor, obviously counterspell, because he makes it unblockable. He does the attack I was talking about, I think. He takes a while too, this turn. And I eat this and I chump. Yeah, I chump the 3/3, I eat the 1/1, and now basically I top to the Scred, and that's game over. Lights out. So that was a really cool game where I survive with 1 life against Stompy, game 1. What wasn't it saying? MTGO is lagging again. But basically, he chumps my ninja and then concedes. Game 2 against Stompy. This hand, like I said, I'm willing to keep loose hands, but this hand's a little too loose for me because I need to fetch a red with his Evolving Wilds. I have 0 cantrips, and I have double Gush. So like the double Gush is already a double mulligan for me because I'm never casting these until like turn 5 or 6. And so like, and I also keep counterspells in, a lot of them against Stompy. And so that's like, this is one of the times where it bites me in the butt, is because counterspell is really bad in this situation for obvious reasons. But anyways, I mulligan, I draw this hand, and this hand is keepable if there's a lands, especially fetch lands in the top 3. I have to fetch blue with this Evolving Wilds. I put the Predator on the bottom. Draw Ponder. Now Ponder's great for obvious reasons. I'm just looking for lands. He gets a fairly fast start. Rancor, Nettle Sentinel. I believe he has a 1-drop here. He does, Young Wolf. So he has 5 power on turn 2, and I have 1 land in my hand. I ponder. I find a land, but there's no second land here. And now I can brainstorm here or not brainstorm, but and by the way, I'm brainstorming here because there's nothing to represent on his turn. I just for the F6 value. Like I thought that I was actually thinking that the game was already over at this point. But anyways, probably not a good line of thought. But I brainstorm here because I'm going to be end of step brainstorming on his turn anyways, and I'm just looking for lands. I whiff, so I'm actually brainstorm locked, which is huge. And I think I ponder here. He has a burning tree on turn 3, and so he has 5, 6, 7, 8 power. I go to 3 next turn, so I need to interact this turn. If I don't interact this turn, I lose. And I ponder for lands. I whiff. Find Evolving Wilds. So I found 2 lands now, but I'm basically dead at this point. And here, no, I got to this point, and I thought to myself, I can actually win here. The way I win is I Scred the Nettle Sentinel on his turn. I play Augur, and I block the 2/2. I go to 1, and then I can like end up doing a bunch of Screds and Spell Stutters and Augurs and stuff like that into like stabilize with his hand. He only has 1 card, so basically his last card in his hand and his next draw step has to be dead cards if I want to win here. I go for the auger. What do I find? I find a gush, not great. Also, if he doesn't have a green spell, you know, insta win. Actually, no, he has Green Ranger. What am I saying? I go for the scred. It dies, so I think, oh my god, do I actually have a chance here? Am I actually gonna bring the comeback? And I block here, and then he has the Hunger of the Outback, and I die. So, not the same story as game 2. I actually could think if he had nothing there for one turn, easily come back, a comebackable game with the sideboard plan that I have. But he has it, so I die. Game 3. Game 3, it's basically it's an aggro draw here for me. But zero removal. But I'm willing to keep his hand. This hand's fine. Turn 1 spell stutter. I'm gonna go for turn 2 spell stutter as well. I draw a land, which is like perfect because now I don't even have to play my Fairy Miscreant. I can leave out spell stutter. Like I said, the only way I get punished at all is gut shot. But he plays a 1-drop, so I know he doesn't even have gut shot. I go for the spell stutter, counter it. He plays a second Endo Sentinel, which is slightly scary. So here I had I apologize. Well, I guess I was fetching the. I drew an Ash Baron. I'm always going to be fetching the Ash Baron, right, for a mountain. So we're going to do that, and we're going to play it. And now we have a couple options. We can Ninja here, but that leaves us vulnerable to his 4 power, and where he's going to be hitting way harder than we are. So he's going to out-tempo us. Or we can just play Fairy Miscreant Scribe, and that's what I do. He doesn't have any mana up, so I get to cleanly kill the Endo Sentinel. He gets Rancor, double Rancor on this guy, and I actually think I'm in trouble because I'm at 12 already. He has 6 power, and I have 0 bolts. And so what do I do here? I attack. When in doubt, just attack with your ninja. Just keep calm and attack, I guess. I ninja back the spell stutter for value, and I have spell stutter up now. And now the plan is to double block my 2 Fairy Miscreants with his Nettle Sentinel, and this plays around both Hunger of the Howlpack and Vines of the Vastwood because I have a spell stutter. He needs 2 of them in order to get through my Fairy Miscreant, and so I'm feeling pretty safe. I don't counter this because it's irrelevant. All I care about is Vines or Hunger of the Howlpack. He double attacks. He knows I'm going to trade double trade here, and so I just take it. I take the trade every day. Right now he has 2 Rancors in his hand. Untaps his guy. And he plays Nest Invader, so he very smartly plays around the spell stutter that he knows that's in my hand. So good for him. He plays Nest Invader. I'm at 7, and he has 2 Rancors in his hand. So I'm actually kind of nervous here. I think I preordain first. I find a Scred. I keep both. I draw the Scred. I don't think I ponder here again. There's no reason to. Or preordain. No reason to preordain because I know what's on top. He attacks here. I trade. I don't. Oh, actually, I don't trade. Why wouldn't I trade? I wouldn't trade if I thought. A reason not to trade is that. Yeah, okay, yeah. The reason why I didn't trade was because he had 2 1-power creatures, and this 2/2 is holding back these 2 1/1s. And so if I end up trading, I'm going to be taking 2 next turn anyways, so I might as well just take 2 from this guy. That was my thought process. So I just took 2. Also, he can overload. He can overload me. This is not very a big consideration, but he could like play Rancor, Hunger, and he can overload me and get some counters on his creatures, which would be kind of annoying. so he doesn't do anything. I shuffle away the Ponder because I have a Preordain already in my hand, and I actually want lands. Find a Gush, and a Fairy Miscreant. I'm willing to take the Fairy Miscreant here, just as a 1/1, but I first a Gush. And I find an Augur instead, so I'm like, sign me up for the Augur instead. And what do I find? Find Swirling Sandstorm, so this is my sideboard tech. That is actually kind of really unnecessary at this point. And now I get to hold up Spellstutter and Spread. So at this point, the game is basically it's basically in my bar court to lose. There's very few ways for him to get out of it. He Rancors up his Nest Invader. I go for the Scred. I'm willing to go for the Scred here because I still have Spellstutter for his Hunger of the Howlpack. I'm not going to rank. I don't think I'm willing to Spellstutter a second Rancor though. I'm willing to let him have the second Rancor, and I'm going to save it for Hunger of the Howlpack. But he doesn't even go for it, so I don't know why he went for the Rancor. Maybe he thought I didn't have a burn spell, but that doesn't make much sense to me. And now I get to attack, and this is kind of weird, but he doesn't even block with this token. I don't know what he was planning on for this token. I guess the token had high dreams, but I guess he wanted to Rancor it up, but even if it Rancors it up, it's only a 2/1. Like, it's not getting through the Augur Balls, right? So you might as well just block, but he doesn't, and he lets me draw a card, and I'm like very happy. And now I get to keep up double Spellstutter, and that feels super good. He plays a 1/1, and I'm like, you can have your 1/1 as long as you don't have Rancor. And he goes for the Rancor and the Spellstutter on one of these guys. I think to myself, let's just counter it. I also want another body on board, just to contest his stuff. He plays Radiant Longbow, and I realize this is a way I could lose. If he, and it's also like it's an easy counter anyway, so I might as well just counter it. I counter it. I skipped everything. I drew a land, and I'm going to be attacking with my Ninja again. And I'm going to be ninjaing the Spellstutter back. And this is like the card advantage engine, and just grinding games out against Stompy at really low life. That happens very frequently, and that's why I think I'm actually slightly favored against Stompy with my build. I beat another Stompy in the Swiss. But I know a lot of Stompy players swear that they are favored against you or Delver. And so, if that's just, I guess, but every pilot that is like remotely average at Pauper thinks that their deck is favored in a lot of matchups that they probably even aren't favored in. But basically, my game plan is to grind Stompy out. I don't think they can do anything here. I gush here just to look for counterspell. I'm looking for counterspell to lock up the game really, and I draw Augur instead. And I think, and I ponder here. I think, do I ponder? I ponder for a burn spell. Yeah, I ponder. I miss, shuffle. I don't need a third ninja. I draw counterspell. Not the counterspell I wanted because I can't play counterspell and Spellstutter, but I'll take it. Finds the password. I used counterspell here because I didn't know what you could have. I couldn't think of a card, but I just was like, nah, just play on the safe side. I'll counterspell, and then you can seeds. So yeah, Stompy was all 3 games. I thought they were really close. Game 1, I always has 1 life. Game 2, like I said, I think I could have come back if he didn't have any cards in his hand. And then game 3, I stabilized at 5. Which is, admittedly, it's a little higher than I'm used to. I'll be honest. So now on to the finals. The finals, not much to talk about. Green Prinny, I know he's on the Inside Out Tribe deck, and I'll be honest. At the time I was playing this matchup, I knew he was on Tribe, but I had zero idea how to play against Tribe. I had only played the matchup once, and I haven't been grinding Pauper leagues that much. I've been grinding sealed more recently, and so I actually had no idea how the matchup plays out. My basic understanding of the matchup is that I get to 5 mana and I get to scribe the tribe and he has to sack 2 cards. Like that's my understanding of the matchup. It's really bad. And obviously he's not going to run out of cards. Like let's be honest, he has like Gush and stuff to refill his hand easily. And so my matchup understanding is very bad, and his matchup understanding was probably really good because he's been playing this deck for quite a while. And so he's inherently favored against me. I think to myself, this is a pretty good hand. I'm going to go for turn 2 Augur. Might as well. We say good luck and stuff like that. He probes me turn 1. And then, yeah, I think he ponders or preordains. Yeah, he ponders. And the problem with this hand is that I actually don't have any pressure. And this is actually a matchup where you really want your 4th Delver. And my deck building choices have actually, it probably cost me. I actually didn't know that red removal is bad in this matchup too, but it obviously makes sense because Tribe doesn't die to red removal. But at the time I was thinking, I thought that the way the matchup played out was I just throw bolts at the Tribe and eventually he runs out of cards. So I was like thinking it was like Infect or Is It Blitz? But it doesn't work like that because they have just as much card draw, if not more than us, and 2, all their disruption is 1 mana. Like they have Dispel and they have the Madness counter. And so when I originally kept this hand, I thought this hand was very good against him, like because I didn't understand the matchup. And as a result, that definitely cost me this finals. People tell me that UR Delver is actually favored, but it certainly didn't feel that way because of the way I was playing, and that's obviously totally my fault. And that's also inexperience with the matchup. Here, I take Ponder. I think Ponder or Preordain, basically to dig for lands. Doesn't really matter. He brainstorms, so I'm thinking maybe he kicked a 1-lander. And he drew a 2nd land, and it's a shuffle land, and so he's not brainstorm locked, so he's gonna get out of this fine. Preordain just for lands, just taking for lands, bottom, get out of here, and whiff again. He's like just digging for cards. I'm just digging for lands at this point. I bolt that, get out of here, and we're like none of us are putting pressure on. I play my Fairy Miscreant and I leave out Spellstutter and I say go. At this point, the only card I'm going to counter is Tribe because I know that they don't run many counter spells except for the Madness one, and you can't cast that without Tribe in play. And so, easy counter spell. Feeling pretty good actually this matchup. Here, I think I go for Ponder. Ponder first. So, I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to shuffle now. My gut says yes. My gut still says no. I didn't end up shuffling because I wanted the Ninja to buy back Spellstutter, and if he didn't have a Tribe next turn, I could leave out Spellstutter for the Tribe, basically for the rest of the game, and he won't be able to win. So my game plan was to Ninja the Spellstutter. But the problem with this hand is that it doesn't have a 4th land, and I really want a 2nd red source, so I can like basically drain him of resources. So that's a reason to mulligan. It's not mulligan. I apologize. It's a reason to shuffle. But I wanted the Spellstutter rebuy. That's the only reason why I kept it. Probably not good enough. He has another Tribe though, and an Augur. And now we're in a weird board stall where he can easily he can easily kill me, so I don't tap out. I just say go. I'm just like, bitch, if you want to kill me, you need to have 2 counter spells, 2 1-mana counter spells to kill me, because he needs to do Inside Out, and he needs to do the Shadow, the one that gives Shadow to. I think he does it right here, does he? Yeah, Shadow Rift. So he needs to spend 3 mana to basically combo off, and then he needs 2 cards to protect his Tyler's Tribe. So I'm thinking to myself, I have both and Spell Stutter. There's no way you're getting through to me. And he gushes, and I think maybe you are getting through. And then he Shadow Rifts. I let that resolve. And that's also hindsight is that I should probably counter that. Is that right? Do I counter this? Because what am I really countering then? If I'm not countering Shadow Rift, right? I'm going to be countering. I can't counter a 3-mana spell, so the only thing I can't counter the Madness spell with Spell Stutter. So the only thing I'm really countering is Gush. Oh, no, sorry, not Gush. Dispel. So maybe I should be countering this. Again, matchup inexperience. Also, repping Counterspell is, I guess, something. Inside Out, I let him have that too. He attacks. Goes for the massive pumps. 13-1, 17-1. Then on his last one, I go for the Bolt. He goes for the Dispel. I go for the Spell Stutter. And he goes for the Madness. So, and I die. So he went through 2 disruption spells, which actually I thought was kind of surprising at the time. I don't think pondering for a second red source would have saved me, like double spreading this guy. That's not going to save me, right? I don't think. Because he can just... Oh wait, what did it have? Huh. It would have saved me. Huh. Yeah. So hindsight's 2020. Obviously matchup inexperience, but I actually shouldn't have pondered and left Ninja. I was so worried about No, because if I didn't buy back the Spell Stutter, then I wouldn't have had a counterspell up to fight over this. So if I pondered and shuffled, then I would have had a Bolt and Scrud, and if I pondered it and the way it turned out without shuffling, I had a Spell Stutter and Bolt, and so I think I'd have lost either way. Red removal is only good when they're comboing off, and so you need double red if you're gonna have this many Scruds, and so maybe shuffling was better too. Tell me what you guys think. Yeah. And as a result of the matchup experience, I actually didn't know that you're supposed to bring in Hydroblast, so I don't bring in Hydroblast. And I think I end up cutting Delvers, because I'm thinking this is like Izzet Blitz. So like I said, super matchup inexperience. I keep this. I'm not even sure why I keep this, but I just keep it, I think. I keep it because it's a combo deck, and they take a while to combo off. And so I'm thinking I need the cards. So it's not like Stompy where double gush is useless. It's like I think this is a defensible keep, in light of the cards I have in my deck. Go for the Augur. Draw counterspell. Great. I'm obviously playing with Fairy Miscreant and leaving a counterspell. And this is another point here. I was actually thinking for the longest time. Well, I also kept thinking that I need to drain him of cards, and so I was actually willing to do a 1-for-1 trade here. And I was thinking, what card could he have that kills my Fairy Miscreant? So like my plan was to attack with Augur and Fairy and leave back a Fairy Miscreant, and I went through my head, and I couldn't think of a single card that would let him kill my Fairy Miscreant and kill me next turn. It would have to be a 1-mana spell and white or blue spell, and 1-mana white or blue spell, and he would have to have the Inside Out. Right. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna get in with my auger, and I'm gonna let him trade with a fairy miscreant. Trade a card in his hand with fairy miscreant if he wants to. I'm totally fine with that. I have gush. I have so many card draw. So I actually end up attacking with my auger. Because my reasoning is that he needs a removal spell, he needs inside out, and he needs to fight through my counterspell in order to kill me. And I was thinking that's not gonna happen. There's no way. So I attack, and then he actually has Piracy Charm, and this is like I said, matchup and experience. He had that 1 mana removal spell, and the next turn he has Inside Out plus Madness counter or Dispel. So high chance I'm dead here on turn 4. So huge blunder. Actually, this is also, I didn't know they brought in Piracy Charm against me. I should have looked at their list longer. I have plenty of time on the clock, and so I should have thought about this for much longer, but he kills it. And then he goes for it. Inside Out. I counterspell. He madnesses, and then I die for Xaxes, I think. Yeah, as in like, yeah, exactly for exactly 21. And so, yeah, basically, he didn't even have a Shadow Rift in his hand, and so he couldn't combo off unless I made that play. If I left my auger back, I think I would have actually won this game. So that was a bit disappointing. Maybe he had Giga Grouse, so maybe I wouldn't have won through. Maybe I would have still lost anyways. I don't know. Like maybe he would have comboed off the next turn, but basically, I was in the finals of a 64-man Pauper challenge, playing for basically $100, and matchup and experience got me because I've only faced this deck once, and I actually thought that the game plan against this deck was to bolt these guys down and make them pitch cards. As embarrassing as that sounds. That was also, I don't think this deck's pretty new, I think, and at the time they were playing Delver, and so it was actually kind of possible to do that strat, but now they play with Augur, and so they have more card draw and they have more targets to bolt, and so it's actually that plan is just as unfeasible. And the next time I would play this matchup, I would definitely bring in Hydroblast, and I would definitely bring in I would definitely not cut Delver. I believe I cut Delver in this matchup too, thinking it's like Blitz, but it's nothing like Blitz because Blitz you need to you just kill everything every turn. You just bring in all your Terminates and kill everything they have, but you can't really kill Tireless Tribe. And so what you have to do is you have to stop their combo, and if you want to stop their combo, you need to have not only counter spells, but you need to have pressure to make sure they don't get the perfect hand. And that's what I failed to recognize, and yeah, it cost me the finals. Obviously, all 3 of my opponents played well. I'm sorry this video got really long. I'm going to stop it now. Thank you very much for watching. If you forgot this far, I'm going to be marking the spots in which the game starts. So hopefully this is interesting, a little bit at least, to people.